or whatever, right? But I'm there. I'm a good Christian. That was 10 years ago. 5 years ago, I'm better than I was 5 years ago. Now I know more. Now I'm closer to my God. I have more experiences. I've learned more. I'm trying to be better, and I am better. I'm better now than I was 5 years ago, right? Here we are to today. I'm better than 5 years ago and 10 years ago, and I'm walking stronger and harder than I ever was before in my relationship with my God and my spirituality and blah, blah, blah. I'm good, right? Good Christian. But the minute that you believe you have arrived is the minute that you stop walking. So if you think that you have arrived, if you think that you are good with your God or your spirituality, whatever it is you believe, I'm not telling you that what you believe is wrong. I'm just telling you that if you have stopped walking because you think you have arrived, then you have stopped evolving. And you're now stuck in yourself, and you have to look at that. You have to look within. If you just talk about it or go to church or read in a book, but you don't actually wake up every morning and go to sleep every night, telling yourself or talking to him in prayer, and wanting that change to manifest within yourself, choosing to change whatever negative energy is in you to positive, not just every single day, but also wanting to evolve and wanting to grow every day. So however close my journey with my spiritual father, with my God, with my dad, is I started off with him writing letters, and then we were able to talk on the phone, and then we were able to email, and then we were able to see each other through this computer, this tablet. And now I'm walking from California to New York, and every step I take is a step closer to him. And he's so big that I can see him, but my journey is long until I reach him. And the minute that I stop and I say, this is close enough, I can see him from here, I give up.
Talking about God?
In this scenario, yes. Blue lights, big energy, right? But walking this way. I'm talking about us. I'm talking about us. I'm talking about God, but I'm talking about us.
In your reference to father, dad.
Yeah, God. Parents. I'm trying to make that reference. Keep going back to that reference of parents. I say father, dad, just because, again, when we get into the religious and all this stuff, the way we've been taught to think and all that stuff, it's kind of, call it my brainwashing of he, male, father. It's not that. Again, light of energy, ball energy, whatever. That's dad. That's God. That's our parents.
When you say like a negative energy, knowing God, walking, right, in the presence of the Lord. These questions that will come up. How do you identify negative? What is sin? How do you identify?
I mean, that's a very valid point, because some people have a hard time identifying what is negative. Some people think it's, let's say, for instance, there's someone that is pro-murder. This person did this, therefore they deserve to die.
Do you think that the human heart has no concept that there are some people that have no concept, haven't murdered yet, but their first murder of a human being is without
concept of good or bad?
Yeah.
Not entirely. I believe in the physical world there are layers of distractions, I'll call them, that can give the illusion of what you're describing, the illusion of a person that does not know the difference between good and bad.
So let me ask you.
But hold on, let me answer. This is why I believe that to some level there is an understanding of good and bad in all of us. There is a way to see it. There's a way to feel
A natural.
within us. We are. This is a born ability. This is a
natural law
God-given ability
that instills upon you that should you take a life, there will be consequences.
Absolutely.
This in itself is the identification. I'm not trying to say, but this is what you could say. The natural law is identifying through natural law. There's a consequence for this action you're going to do. You may get away with it right now. You may think you have gotten away with
Right.
it, and you will maybe get away with it
Mhm.
from other people. But you understand that had they seen, you would have a consequence for this.
Mhm.
That action would produce a consequence you would not like or be happy to receive.
Right, and that takes us right back
And
to
that brings you back to a natural law instilling in you it is not right.
which another way of saying that is cause and effect.
Now what about lying? Deceiving. It's the same thing. If you get caught in a lie, you know you're going to be
Right.
embarrassed.
Right. Again, it goes back to
At the very least.
it goes back to the question: why do you feel the need to tell the lie? What is so scary about the truth? That's a core thing within us. Like it's
So,
instinctive
When
within
you
us.
say like I'm gonna lie because the truth is scary, or you put forth the I'm gonna lie to lips to I'm thinking I'm intentionally good. I'm gonna lie for good to make the person
Mhm.
not feel bad.
Right. That's like the video she played earlier. You
Either way, when
you tell yourself you love them, but really you loving yourself. You're loving the effect when you say
you're not
I'm
doing
lying
it for anybody but yourself.
yourself, right? When you say
Either
I'm
way,
lying
whether
for
the
you or
intentions are
for
good or bad.
correct, it's always for you.
It's always for you. And you know that it's a deceit.
Right.
You know that should you be exposed, however small the consequence or great, it's
Right.
something you do not look forward to.
How do you know if I rub my feet on a carpet and I put my finger out to you and you put your finger out and a static shock goes across? How do you know that electricity just hit that finger?
'Cause
You felt
feel
it.
You feel it.
You felt it. That's exactly what that law is. That's exactly what that cause and effect is. You feel it because we are that, in the scenario, we are that energy, right?
You feel
Energy
it.
flows through us and energy has different signatures. You can feel the difference between light energy and dark energy, or positive energy and negative
Like
energy.
you're
You
saying,
can feel
the
those
act
differences.
itself has energy.
Correct.
That's what you're feeling.
Correct.
Whether the consequences are produced or not.
Correct.
You can have an inclination
It's-
of knowing the
it's-
consequences are not good, but the energy itself has already produced the feeling,
Yes.
knowing there's a consequence.
It's a
Whether
vibration.
you get it or not.
It's a vibration. It's
Yeah.
a frequency, just like words.
Yes.
When I say a word that affects you in a negative way, how do you know that you feel badly? Because it's a feeling that's coming from within, which you have to identify as what's going on there, what's actually happening, right? And how much of it is you and how much of it you can control and how much of it you can change. And that's how you work on yourself. But again, the minute you tell yourself you arrived, the minute you think you have all the answers, the minute you think that that's it, I've achieved top level with
Absolutely, we have to be
walking
humble.
in my own evolution, is the minute that you stop moving forward.
Humble means. What does humble mean? Now these are things to look up because we can all say. I use this example. What does the word patience mean?
Okay.
To you, what does it mean?
For me, patience is the other side of restraint. It is being able to. The only need to be patient is a need to restrain something within yourself, to be able to wait calmly, to be able to allow time to pass or the moment to pass or whatever it is that needs to occur while positioning yourself in a place of center, in a place of peace, until a moment arises for you to have an action, not a reaction, but an action.
Okay. Because most people say it means to wait. A lot of times the other half is left out without complaint. That is patience. Waiting.
That's the peace, right?
Complaining is not patience. So yes. So when I say like when we look at the word humble meaning, do you lower yourself as opposed to not lift up yourself?
I think it's quite the opposite. To be humble for me is to face yourself. To be humble is the flip side of courage, not fear. To be humble is to be courageous enough to stand in that mirror, strip off your clothes, figuratively speaking, and really look at who you are. So, for instance, you have ego. Ego is the enemy of humble, in my opinion. And this is just my opinion. Ego is the enemy of humble because ego is when you have that perspective of yourself in a certain way. Therefore, you are wherever you put yourself. However high or low, it's some kind of pedestal, and you're there, right? However, the more ego you have, the higher up you are on that pedestal. The less ego you have, the lower down you are, right? But that's ego. You will never stand still long enough to really just look in the mirror. Not for a minute, not for 60 seconds, not for a 2-minute morning prayer, but just look. I'm talking about sit down and just look for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. And I'm talking about every day when you get chance, when you make time, you take that time and you just look. Get away from the distractions. Get away from the TV. Get away from the internet. Get away from the phones and tablets. Get away from each other when you need to get away from each other. Find that space alone so that there are no other energy sources influencing you. And just look at yourself for who you are. That is, to me, the definition of humbling yourself. Because whatever you see, you have to be willing to accept and acknowledge and say, I see you to myself. I see you. And despite how wrong I am, despite how filthy I am with sin, despite how many people I've hurt or how many incidents I've caused unintentionally or intentionally, I still love myself enough. I still love myself enough to want to be better. I still love myself enough to want to grow. I still love myself enough to want to affect positive change in my life. Not only do I love myself enough, but I love those around me. I lift myself up enough so that I can lift up those around me more. Humility is being able to look at yourself and face yourself and love yourself and embrace yourself, no matter how ugly it is what you see in that mirror. That's humility. And that takes courage to do. And someone who is egotistical too much, you're not going to be able to, you're raising yourself. You're lifting yourself way up here in your perspective. You're not taking time to look in that mirror. So ego's dangerous. Pride was one of my big ones. I didn't really struggle with ego, but pride was one of my killers. Man, pride was one of my killers. I'll speak to myself on that. Pride blinds the hell out of you. Pride is the invisible enemy. I mean, when you talk invisible, we're talking about us being blue lights that we can't see and energy, right? And all this other stuff that science has proven, but we still don't see daily, right? And that's what makes it hard for us to sometimes believe in some cases, or to remember every day consciously, or to not just put in the back of our minds, but put in the front of our minds, not just put into a Sunday in our life, but to put every day in our lives. Pride will blind you. Pride, you don't know. Pride is the pride is the ninja. Pride is the ninja. You will never hear it coming. You won't see it. I never, ever. Pride is the one thing I can say that I did not defeat on my own. Of all my accomplishments that I did in my own strength with God, of all my accomplishments that I did in my own strength with the love of others, of all my accomplishments that I did in my life, pride I can take no credit for, because it's just that slick, that invisible, that it literally, pride will lift you up all on its own. Pride will give you the perception of that love that's missing.
Pride is deceiving.
Pride is very deceiving. Pride is very deceiving, and it's tricky. So in order for me to identify my pride, and so I feel for people I understand the people who are proud. I understand. I don't have the ego, but I understand the proud, and I know it goes with the ego sometimes. I understand it because I lived it and I had to overcome it, but I could not have done that alone. That took the right people in my life at the right time to speak to me when I was ready to listen. I had to be ready. I had to choose to hear those words. I had to choose to process them and sit on them and replay them and grab them. I had to choose that in order to defeat my pride. I had to stop. I guess I did have a lot of ego now that I'm thinking about it, because I had to stop and bring myself off that pedestal that I didn't even realize I was on. I'm just now realizing I had ego. I'm literally right now on the spot just realizing this, okay? I had to... I didn't even know.
Never ends.
It doesn't.
Ego's battle
It-
and pride
It
never
doesn't.
ends.
But the minute that you tell yourself that you've arrived, the minute that you tell yourself that you've walked far enough, you're going to lose that battle.
would mean end.
That
If you think you've arrived,
But here's the
you've
problem.
ended.
Here's the problem, though. The whole time that you're doing this, the whole time that you're battling yourself, the whole time that you're learning yourself, if you're a member of society, then you are interacting with these other balls of light and energy, whether that's your kids, whether that's your significant other, whether it's your parents, your church, your congressman, whoever it is, you are interacting with these other energies. So even while you're working on yourself, and this is if you're working on yourself, right? This is if you choose to work on yourself. This is if you choose to face yourself. If you make the commitment, you put in the time, the dedication to every day, every single day, every single night, work on changing who you are. Tomorrow, I will be better than who I was today. Today, I go get rewards and they tell me I'm a hero and they tell me this, that, and the other. It wasn't good enough because tomorrow I will be better. It doesn't matter. It's not about the physical. It's about that positive energy and lifting each other up and walking in my own sin and walking in my own shame and wanting to take that negative energy and use it for something positive. Use my sins, use my guilt, my anger, use my shame to do something positive, to turn it into something good. Instead of hiding it away, instead of letting fear, another negative energy, drive me, instead of letting pride drive me, instead of letting ego drive me, I have to have humility. I have to have the courage to find humility, to face myself in that mirror every single day. Because while I'm doing this, all of these other lights that are around me, that I claim to love, that I say that I want to lift up, that I say that I will sacrifice for, that I say I will give you my last breath, what am I doing to them? If I have that negative energy in me, then even when I don't know it, even when I'm not aware, I'm spreading it to them. And that is going to work counteractive to any positive energy that I intended to put out there. So if I'm saying I love you, I will lift you up, I will give you my last breath, and I really mean that, if I truly mean that for my kid, for my mother, for whoever, if I really mean that, then I owe it, simply on honor alone, I owe it to that person. I owe it to all those I have spoke those words to. I owe it to myself, and I owe it to that light energy that we call God. I owe it to God. I owe it to all of us to first fix myself before I try to fix the next person. I owe it to myself to first apologize for what I did wrong yesterday so that I can do better today. Not to go after the person that did me wrong yesterday. Not to seek retribution on that individual. Not to unleash my anger or unleash my rage or unleash my ego. Not to do those things.
Yes.
But to be a better version of myself, if nothing else, then at least for myself and at least for my God. If nothing else. But certainly, if you claim to love someone that deeply, then also for them. And we're doing this. I owe everyone an apology. Because till this day, and I'm sure after this day, I will slip up and I will make mistakes.
All of us.
And there may be some kind of pride that comes out of me. There may be some kind of ego. There may be some kind of anger. There may be some kind of anything negative that comes out of me that I am not aware of, at least in that moment, that I was not evolved enough to catch before that moment. But I promise you that I'm working on it every day. I will continue to work on it every day till my last breath for all of you, because that's what I love you means. I'm not here to say I'm going to give this person money, or I'm going to buy that person a house, or I'm going to, feed you for a month. No, that's not how I'm raising you up. I would if I could where I need to. That's not what I'm doing for you. What I'm doing for you is I'm going to work on me. So that as long as you allow me, as long as you choose for me to be a part of your life, I know that every day that I'm working on me is a gift that I'm giving to you by trying my very best to make sure that I'm only giving you positive energy, by trying my very best to make sure that I'm only lifting you up and not pulling you down. Regardless of what I think or what I believe, I have to check myself every day. If I did not apologize today, there's something I missed. Almost guaranteed. If I did not apologize to myself, to my God, or to someone I love, there is something I missed, because there's no way I've arrived yet. There's no way I've arrived yet. So if you think that you owe no apologies, if you think that you are clean for yesterday, I guarantee you can be a pastor, you can be a president. It doesn't matter. You're missing something. You're missing something within yourself. So I apologize every damn day, and I'm doing it now publicly to my family. I apologize because I know that I'm with sin. I know that I've made mistakes, however little. And that said, there's people that I know that I can pull out to give a testimony, and they'll be like, never gave them an ounce of negative energy from me. Everything was always positive, always lifted them up. But I guarantee you, somewhere, maybe I told a little lie. Maybe I had a moment of jealousy. Maybe something. It could have been small. But whatever it is, I could have done better. And I know it must have slipped somewhere, because mathematically speaking, physics speaking, that energy is always flowing, right? So if it's in me, it's going out somewhere. It's going out somewhere. We all have to do the same thing. And I'm saying that because I'm going to give my last example here for this part. But I'm saying that because I'm going on this vacation. I'm going to disappear for a little bit. I'm going to enjoy myself, and I'm going to get better. I'm going to take care. I'm going to look in the mirror. I'm going to go look in the mirror. I'm going to take a couple of months to really focus on that. Take out everybody else's energy so that it's only mine and my God's. And I'm going to work on that for a few months while I enjoy myself and I build myself, so that when I come back, I'm better, I'm stronger than I have been, so that I can be better and stronger for everyone that wants me to be a part of their lives. But I promise you, if that same thing is not being done within you, I'll be a part of your life as long as you need me, but you will not be a part of mine. If you are not willing to look at yourself, this is why I'm doing this right here. Not for me, but for the people I love. If you are not willing to say I'm so, not to me, don't give me an apology. Say I'm sorry to yourself. Say I'm sorry to God every damn day. Because I promise you did something wrong. Say sorry before you do it, because you're going to do something wrong. I'm going to too. And if you're not willing to do that because of your pride, or because of your ego, or because of your fear that you're not willing to see yourself, then that means that you're going to continue to perpetrate negative energy within yourself. You are going to continue to perpetrate that darkness, and you're going to spread it, even in the name of love, even in the name of God. You are going to spread that negative energy, because as long as it's in you, it needs to come out. So the only way to get better is not to try and dissolve or get rid of or be ashamed of the negative energy. It's to learn to live in harmony with it. It's to learn to use it. It's to learn to use it for something positive. And if you can do that, you don't have to be perfect when I come back. You be the same you as you are today, with one difference. That you are apologizing every day, that you are looking at yourself every day, that you are making that effort, that choice to be better. If you could be my mother, you could be my sister, you could be closest person in the world to me, I don't care. I love you. I will lift you up. I will be a part of your life as long as you want me to. But you will not be a part of mine when I come back. Because that negative energy damn near destroyed me from all of the people that said they love me. And I forgive them. I forgive everyone. The same way I'm sorry and I'm apologizing to you guys, I forgive everyone. Because I know that most of the people that are going to hear these words don't see themselves. They don't know what they've done. Or they do, but they've lied to themselves about it. And they've certainly lied to me about it. Whether that's out of fear or anger or whatever anybody's issue is. Everybody's got their stuff, right? Whatever it's out of, I see you all. I understand you all. I forgive you all. And I will lift you up. But that negative energy, I got no one lifting me up except God. And I finally understand that that's really all it takes. But that negative energy is just pulling me down. It's draining me. I've only got so much left, so I want to do the most with it.
It's obvious. I mean, in your life now, it's obvious how it's been spiraling.
Yes.
Yes.
You're starting to see it.
I've seen it. Believe me, I've been wanting.
But most of that negative energy has come from my very loved ones, my family. The people that look at me right in the eye and say, I love you. Yeah. And it's not, sometimes it is malintention, but it's not always malintention, you know? A lot of times it's out of ignorance. A lot of times it's out of misguided. This is my perspective. This is what I believe is right. This is what I believe is righteous. The ends, the ends justify the means. That's what we tell ourselves. The ends justify the means. This is not so, because if the intention is right or righteous, but the means are not, then the whole purpose is lost. The whole purpose is lost. Those two things do not work together. So the ends absolutely does not justify the means, but we tell ourselves that every single time that we tell someone I love you in falsehood, in false words. In what was the verbiage that rabbi used? Fish love. That fish love.
Yes.
And that fish love applies both ways. Sometimes we love ourselves with fish love. It's bullshit. We call it love. We say but it's bullshit. We're lying to ourselves. Yes. I want my family to be better. So because I want them to be better, I'm putting myself out here. I'm going to show myself. I'm going to reveal myself so that all can see. I will walk in my shame for you. But when I come back, you don't heed these words. You don't take it seriously. That's on you. This is my last attempt to reach out. If you stay in your bubble, you choose ignorance, you choose your sin over the love, over God, over your brother, your sister, then there's nothing more I can do for you until you are willing to make that choice. And I'm not going to try anymore. Not out of selfishness, but out of a self-preservation that is required for me to continue my mission, helping those that are ready to be lifted up. I need to put my energy where it's going to do the most good. All right? So that's what this has all been about. So we're going to wrap up on just this last part. We're definitely going to have to continue tomorrow because there's a lot more to be said. But let me just use this last example. So recent events with us, I had kind of, let's say, I need you here. Call me out. Be as brutal as possible. I've had sporadic behavior.
Nothing comes to mind. Well, I can't say between me and you interactively sporadic.
Right.
No, nothing. No. But
I've had behavior that has caused some concerns.
If I had to say what I've seen changing you over the last couple of, that is not sporadic.
Right. No. Before this sit down, right?
Yes. No, not right now. I'm talking about now. I'm talking about the last few years.
No. I'm just talking like the last couple of weeks. Let's just go with what's been heard or said or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. The last couple of weeks, my behavior or my actions have caused concern.
I haven't known of any.
Is that a fair statement?
Of course you do.
Well, you sent out a letter, yes.
Okay.
Yes. That's what he speaks of.
All right.
Okay, so
Yes.
yes, it's called concern.
Of course.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So for you, can you tell me, run me through your emotions over the last couple of weeks involving me, your emotions, your thoughts, your feelings. How have you felt? What have you been thinking? What has been racing through your mind? You can be as candid as possible. Just, I'm trying to get the detail, the picture. In your mind, in your perception, what has been going on? What were your fears, concerns, thoughts, anything about me?
Well, I already had told you from.
I heard the good
before.
one. I don't know if that needs to be on here, but yeah.
Right. Which is, there's a few options. That's why, because there was a few options. I really didn't know what you were speaking of, because when I got that text, like I said, I don't speak to anybody, so I really don't know what part you was talking about, that we don't believe what you're saying and that we're all talking behind your back, and you've been saying that a couple of times already prior, that you have mentioned to me that you feel like we're talking behind your back, or that we all have an ongoing thing. And again, I couldn't understand it. So when I got that text, I still was blinded. So that's why I texted you right back, like, what's going on, bud? But then Lance told me how, you was going to be gone for a little while, and that you don't want to be really for us to worry about you, and that you need to just go away, and that when you're ready, you'll come back and get in contact with us. And that blew my mind a little bit, because I was like, well, where the fuck would he be going? And why would he be going? Because I wouldn't know why you would be going anywhere, especially at this time of pandemic. I'm like, what if he gets sick out there, and then we don't know what happens to him, and we just lose him like that, and we'll never get to know whatever happened to Joe, And I felt like that part was very fucking selfish of you, because for me, it's like, we definitely love you and concerned about you. So for me to lose you and not know whatever happened to you was upsetting me.
Okay, so right there, real quick, you said a lot of key words. You said, for us to love you, which again to me is to lift you up. For us to love you, to lift you up. You said that you felt that I was being selfish. So for me to be selfish would mean that I am taking for myself and not returning, not giving, right? So you felt in some way that I was taking something from you.
Yes, you was.
Okay.
You was taking my companionship. You was taking away my every other, my contact, to just be able to release some steam. I mean.
Okay. You mentioned there was another word you used about with the coronavirus being out and all this other stuff and may be gone, which, correct me if I'm wrong, but the word I would use to describe those emotions are fear. Okay, so we've talked about, in just that short thing you said, you talked